Hello and welcome back. Let's get a little bit more now on that cargo ship in the Red Sea that was struck by a missile with some 24 people on board just off the coast of Yemen. The Greek shipping ministry has said it was a Greek-owned ship called the MT Zografia sailing from Vietnam to Israel. They said that no one was injured. Well, let's bring in our military analyst, Simon Diggins. Simon, it's great to have you with us. So talk to us about what we understand happened with that incident. And I believe there's been a response as well, potentially.
There has, yes, thank you. The incident took place just off the coast of Salif. So we're actually in the Red Sea itself. As you say, it was a missile attack, but it's also linked to a whole series of other incidents over the course of the last 24 hours. So we had reports last night that there were suspicious vessels surrounding ships, and also 24 hours before that, down here in the Gulf of Aden, we had an attack on the Gibraltar Eagle as well. So there's a whole pattern of that. And there has, as you say, been a response. We're just getting reports at the moment. They're not completely confirmed reports. We are just getting reports at the moment now that the US military have responded and, again, have launched attacks against Houthi positions, particularly where they'd be using things like radar and the radar position, the targeting mechanisms, which they're allowing them to actually attack the ships as well. So that is a response.
And what's your sense of what's going on here, Simon, more broadly? Because, of course, we had those strikes by the UK and US and others, of course, on the 11th, hitting targets, radar sites, cruise missile launching sites, and subsequently we've had more strikes by the Houthis.
Absolutely, and the Houthis actually said they were going to respond, and so we should always expect that. There's an old military saying, the enemy has a vote. In other words, if you do something, you are going to have to deal with the retaliation, and that would be more part of the debate about what the consequences and how we react to those consequences right when the decision was made to conduct those attacks. So that's to be expected. And since then, clearly it takes some time to organise themselves, and there's obviously a phase at the moment going on where they are trying to respond in several attacks across the area from there, and the US have responded to that as well.
I mean, what do you make of the argument that we've heard sort of the past few days after those responses by the US and the UK? That, the Saudis are trying to knock the Houthis out of the war for many, many years, and were unable to do so. So what makes us think that...
Well, I don't think anyone's seriously talking about trying to, if you like, sort out the Houthis en masse. That isn't going to happen. I thought what we are trying to do is a very strong signal to them that whatever their particular issues are, and a lot of the issues are for the Houthis about, we are still here. So even if because what's been going on in the background is Iran and Saudi Arabia have actually been slightly reconciling. So if you like, their sponsor has been reconciling. We are still here, and we are not to be ignored. They've chosen to launch at the same time as they've got the fighting going on in there. But I think a lot of it is about saying, we're still Houthis, we're still here. And the peace deal, which is supposed to be ongoing since April 22, is not yet concluded. So I think there's some internal issues around within the Yemen itself, which is why the Houthis, if you like, are making the noise now, in order they're not ignored.
And marked on the map here, Iran. We always refer to the Houthis as Iranian-backed. They do have their own say in this, don't they? They are making their own decisions. Now, how much is Iran paying attention to what's going on?
Well, enormously. I mean, I think Iran has got a strategy of using proxies. But I think the analogy that sometimes people talk about, where Iran is like the puppet master, and it's got the Houthis in the Yemen, it's got Hamas, and it's got Hezbollah, I don't think it's a particularly accurate model. I mean, they are clearly providing training, they're providing logistics support. We know that up until recently they're providing intelligence support as well. But they are also their own actors, and often they're operating for their own reasons. The attack, the Hamas attack on October the 7th, again, linked with another bit of reconciliation that was going on between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And so you've got this sort of picture, which is not a direct picture which says they are in charge, but they've got missions, they've got aims. Clearly they want to get the West out. Clearly they see Israel as a kind of very strong Western ally. But the idea that they are directing the attacks themselves, I think, is an inaccurate one.
OK, Simon, really appreciate the analysis as always. Thank you very much.